This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian.
Mission 250.
Welcome to the Mission 250 Filmcast, where we are watching the best movies ever made, according to IMDb. Sometimes we watch relevant movies to movies that are on the list. Last week, we watched Django Unchained. So this week, we decided, since TC and John had never seen it before, we'd watch The Hateful Eight, which was the movie Quentin Tarantino made right after Django Unchained. The synopsis of this movie is, in the dead of a Wyoming winter, a bounty hunter and his prisoner find shelter in a cabin currently inhabited by a collection of nefarious characters.
And this is the 8th film by Quentin Tarantino, which he's very happy to say.
He lined it right up there. Good for him.
That's right. Right. And was it Fellini that had 8.5? Who was it that did 8.5?
Yeah, that was Fellini.
Yep. I think it's just kind of cute how they proudly say the 8th film by Quentin Tarantino as the film starts.
Yeah.
Just really putting it out there.
The 8th, Hateful Eight.
In case you forgot which movie you put on, it's The Hateful Eight.
Yep.
Right.
So now I have to follow up what I did with TC last week. John gets to go for it. You have about 2 minutes, John, then I'm going to interrupt you and kick it over to TC.
There you go.
All right. That sounds good. It all comes around.
It does. Got to keep it
I haven't
keeled.
seen this. I first looked at it and did on Netflix. So Netflix helped produce this, I guess. But there's a Hateful Eight miniseries. It's kind of where there's
or it's like the extended version and they do it in 4 episodes.
Yes. And it looks like it's over. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Holy cow. I was not willing to make that investment. It's over 4 hours.
Yeah.
Where did you watch it, TC?
On Netflix.
Oh, is it still on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I had no idea. And I was like, they must. I was literally thinking, they must have fucked up and made it like a season series thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then I just kept watching it.
So it'll be interesting to hear it because I did not put in the time. Hey, TC going for the extended edition for once, even if accidentally.
I wish I hadn't. Put it that way. I really wish I had.
The opening scenes are beautiful. I know, and so in my book corner, I read the script for this one, and it's fun. Fun because Tarantino, and it'll be like, and the horses go by in spectacular 70 millimeter. You know, he's just like,
that's funny.
You can tell he's like all excited about how he's going to make these shots. Because it is beautiful, the horses, the way they film it in the mountains, all that stuff we expect. And I know the title of the movie gives this away, but boy, I do wish the characters were more likable. But
yeah,
I think that was sort of if I were to decide to kind of pick the problem. I mean, it still is fascinating to watch, and it's cool to see Kurt Russell play in this sort of serious film, although weird because he also more recently was in the Santa Claus film where he did it across from Goldie Hawn. And
what?
Yeah, he makes a really good Santa Claus.
That wasn't Tim Allen?
No. There was the Santa Claus, but then there was another film with Kurt Russell.
Was that Mel Gibson?
No, that was the Christmas Anti-Semite, another movie that didn't do so well. The IMDb, what is that movie?
John, your time's up. That was 2 minutes. TC, sorry. TC, why did you watch that one, and why did you? And what did you think of it?
So I don't, because I'm not paying attention. I really wish I had just watched the movie.
Yes. It was the Christmas Chronicles. There's
a lot of talking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's too much talking.
I
mean, I didn't like it. No, I don't know. I liked parts of it, and then I didn't like other parts of it. It's just, I don't know.
I feel like it's a downward from Inglourious Bastards, and then you got Django, and then you got this, and it feels like they're becoming like more westerns, but they're becoming less interesting.
And then Tim Roth there is like supposed to be a replacement for the German guy, kind of
very similar to Christoph Waltz.
Not gonna live up to Christoph.
Annoying. Yeah, it's a little annoying because it's not the same.
I kind of liked how Samuel L. Jackson's character and the racist redneck were kind of partnering up. I sort of like how that happened. But that was like the most the film gets towards a friendly interaction. I really like that scenario, and there maybe could have been a lot more fun to have with that. But yeah, I don't know. I agree. It was just.
It was a long movie. I mean,
it was really long for you.
The thing I
what
watched
they did,
was long.
what they added in that you know, was there a lot of
Holy
long
shit.
pauses?
No, there's
God.
extra
A lot of long-
scenes. There's more scenes.
There's extra.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know which ones are not in the movie.
I
Obviously,
honestly can't remember either because I watched that one when it was in the theaters, the roadside edition with the the one
really?
you watched, and it didn't have like the 4 chapters or whatever, but it did have like an interlude in the beginning and then an intermission in the middle.
Oh,
wow.
the one thing I
yeah.
know in the script they had a whole scene showing Samuel L. Jackson's character being stripped, like judged in front of a panel and stuff, and they didn't have that in the version that I watched. Maybe they had it in the 4-hour everything in the kitchen sink version.
I don't think
Did
so.
they have his dingus? That's what I want to know.
I was reading the script and I was hoping that they wouldn't put that in there because the script says exactly that, all of that. And I was like, I really hope they're not. I hope that they thought, that maybe Samuel L. Jackson would have been like, Quentin, maybe there's another way to rile this guy up.
No.
Do we need to really?
No.
Is that
You
your
guys are on-
favorite thing?
I don't know. You
I
guys
thought that
are on
was
totally
funny.
different pages. I thought this
thought
movie
that
was
was
fucking
funny.
hilarious from front to
God.
back.
I thought that was
Why don't
funny.
you go if you want to go.
No,
David,
you're
maybe
gonna
you
have
It was
like
just
that.
so. It was just so long, and it was just so much talking.
Yeah.
And then, like, finally, I
And
guess
slow
finally,
talking. Lots of slow talking.
finally, the blood starts coming in, and you're like, okay, here's a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's just like nonstop gunshots and then blood everywhere, and you're just like, all right, this is overkill.
See. So from my perspective, all the blood in this movie is hilarious because it's so over the top. Like
It
when
is.
he's
It's so
vomiting
over the top.
on Jennifer Jason Leigh's face, the blood, and she's screaming. Like I am dying laughing at that stuff.
Wow.
So that all that gore stuff is just hilarious to me, and I think it's
Really?
supposed to be played for laughs. And I can kind of understand if you don't really like, I don't know, horror movies or gore or something like that, then you might just be like, well, this is kind of just over the top. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was really damn funny, and even like all the suffer. Well, the one part that wasn't that funny was like the snow scene with the dingus, like. Him using the word dingus was funny. I laughed
It's
at that.
funny.
Yeah.
I laughed at that. Just him saying dingus.
Dingus was funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that word in so long. And
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson talking about raping a guy using the
Yeah.
word dingus is, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. Can I knock your hate train
Yeah.
off the wagon? Is that okay? You can keep
I don't
it back
hate.
in.
Yeah, I don't hate. It's just a long movie.
Yeah,
if
it's
you
too
watch
bad
it the way I
TC.
did.
Because I wonder,
Yeah.
because it cuts like an hour out for like the normal version.
Ooh, baby,
So
I
it's-
wish.
It's still 3 hours long. But
I got to a point where I didn't realize it was episodes still because I really wasn't paying
Oh.
attention. I was just letting them play. And I was like, fuck, I got to rewatch that. So I rewatched like 3 and had no idea there was a 4. So then like it went to 4 and I'm like, there's another one? Fuck. Like shit. And I just finished that one before 6:30.
did you check for 5?
No, I didn't even.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it. I'm only
It's-
watching this
there's
one
no
more. I got no
time.
more
There's
time.
no time.
There's no
Yeah.
time. Yeah, there's
No.
no time.
It was so strange when the narrator comes in on the 4th chapter. It was even in the script. It was written all like that in the script, but it was really weird. It was like, whoa, it just seemed like such a shift.
I
where
liked
they're
it.
like-
You needed the shift. The whole movie is a bottle episode, Anything they
Yeah.
can do to change it is,
I guess
is
so,
good.
but
I think.
it was just really weird. Where it's the guy's like almost like it's
Was that
almost like
Tarantino? It sounded like Tarantino.
I don't think so. He was talking to if it was Tarantino, he was talking not like
They
himself.
gave him some horse tranquilizers and put him in front of a microphone.
right? Right. I don't think he was the narrator. I don't think that was Tarantino. I'd been
can we find that
okay,
out?
right? So somebody poisoned the coffee. Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't think. Well, I'm sure we can look, but
It was Tarantino.
Was it?
Yep.
Oh, good for
It
him.
sounded like him, but yeah, I agree. He didn't have his normal like being interviewed
well,
on
that
cocaine.
that was his reading voice. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
was
they just
impressed.
slowed it down and kept the pitch the same. You can do that these days.
Possibly edited out all the okays.
okay.
Or-
Yeah.
Okay.
But he does a good job. Yeah.
Well, you say that he does a good job, but you just shat on the narration because it was shocking when it came in.
Well, I
if
thought
it really
was just
did
strange.
a good job,
It was the tone of the film was strange. I didn't get it like you did. Where I didn't get the stuff that was possibly played for laughs. I just didn't. It didn't click sort of for me to make that happen. And
I
I
thought
don't know
nearly-
why not.
Well, Denny's
Everything-
got a perverse sense of humor.
I do.
Well, I know that. Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like it's a rare perverse sense of humor. It's the kind of humor that Tarantino shares with me, at least on this exact level.
Yes.
I think.
Just
You know,
you two.
Yeah,
And
probably,
nobody
yeah.
else.
I
Apparently.
mean, as bad as all this is going to sound, whenever they hit Jennifer Jason Leigh, that stuff was funny and it was slapstick with gore on top of it. Like it wasn't.
Was it?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Seemed. I don't know.
When he punches her out the chariot or whatever the hell, that wagon thing, and she goes flying out, and then Kurt Russell goes flying out after her. Hilarious.
Is it? It seems
I
nasty.
thought it was
hilarious. I don't
hilarious.
know. It's weird. Yeah. Huh.
All the violent stuff, all the hitting, all of like the casual violence, the over the top gore. I'm just laughing at all of it. The way they just shit on each other, the way every character is just like chewing the scenery up to the absolute maximum they could, laughing at all that. I
don't know if that
every
connected
single
for me
character.
either. I don't know if that connected for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy for you, Denny, that you had a good time.
Yeah,
for such a long time.
I wish I had seen it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of got a laugh when he fell out of the cart, I guess. When he hit her
that
in the
was
face.
funny.
But the part wasn't.
Sounds like you're tentatively agreeing to that.
Her getting hit in the face wasn't the funny part. The funny part was them falling out of the wagon.
Yeah.
No, it was funny when he hit her in the face. And he says, you know when to shut up when I hit you in the face. Hilarious.
She did keep getting hit in the face as if it was some sort of like.
Yeah. And she wasn't really getting
joke.
hurt, which is like, if she was getting punched in the face, she'd be more upset.
Well, she showed up with a black eye, so we already know he's been hitting her in the face, right?
Yeah.
And then
I don't get it. He's gonna make the same amount of money, dead or alive. I mean, geez, come on. He should just have killed her, and then it all been over.
He's sick too. He likes watching him hang.
I guess so.
True.
So yeah, the first time when you do things the first time, it sticks out in your head. Want me to paint you a picture? Put yourself back in nice old Somerville, Massachusetts in December, 28th, probably 2015. A couple days after Christmas. I live in Davis Square, a 3-minute walk away from the Somerville Theater, which is one of the few theaters in the country that's showing this movie in 70 millimeter, roadside edition. Sold out show. Bought the tickets probably 4 months before, like right when they came out. It's December 28th. We watch this movie. We go and it's freezing cold outside. We go into the theater. It's snowy out there. It plays for 2 hours or whatever, and then the intermission hits, and we go out, and this theater serves beer and stuff. So like when we're halfway through this movie theater, and everyone's being snowed in the movie, and we go out to get beer, and it's dumping snow outside in Davis Square, Somerville.
So now I know why you like it. This is a great
experience.
experience.
This has like a whole thing.
Yeah. This is like when I got to go see The Force Awakens with my group from work, and they bought out the theater, and I thought it was the most awesome film ever because it was just such a good experience. Or even like the last night I was in Boston, and we went and saw that horror movie, and it was just a great experience where. So did
awesome. You feel like you were in Wyoming, Denny?
It did.
Yeah,
it felt like I was in the fucking movie. It was perfect.
Yeah. Somerville, and it's Somerville because you don't know who's going to come up and talk to you funny. Someone might come up and smack you.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, he might be kind of artsy about it, but you might still get smacked.
But I do remember that first viewing. I didn't think it was necessarily that funny. What I did like a lot was the setting. The cinematography is beautiful. The snowy stuff outside, and just like the set inside, and the costume designs, and the way people's hair and facial hair and like the blood makeup and all that stuff. It just looks fucking great.
Yeah.
100%
How happy were they to get over that outside shooting stuff? Jesus Christ. It must have been cold.
Yeah. And they all worked in a freezer. That Minnie's haberdashery was built inside of a freezer.
Oh my God.
That was 30 degrees Fahrenheit the entire time.
No way.
Yeah,
Jesus,
really?
ouch. Yeah.
They drank a lot of tea on set, is what Tarantino said.
And that was so that like when they spoke, they actually had the.
Yep. No digital effects there.
I mean, you would think they had a fire inside or something.
Yeah, it's really amazing what he does with practical stuff all the time. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And this is like this is the 11th film shot on 70 millimeter Panavision, is what it's called. Okay. The 11th film ever to be filmed on that. It was what the Ben-Hur chariot race scene was filmed on. Like, pretty much nobody has shot on that since the 60s, I think, was the last time they did that.
Damn.
Which is pretty nuts. But I mean, all that stuff the first time. I did like the story. The mystery was fun. I don't know. I freaking Kurt Russell and Samuel L. Jackson. I'll watch them in anything they do. They're awesome every single time.
That's fair.
And I haven't seen Jennifer Jason Leigh in forever. And Walton Goggins was somebody that I didn't really know too much about, but I like him a lot now. Like, I've searched him out.
Which one was Walton?
He was he was the guy who came on the wagon as well as Samuel L. Jackson early on.
Oh, okay. Because Chris, right?
Yeah, the sheriff.
The sheriff.
The sheriff. Yeah.
Sheriff
he was
Chris
good.
Mannix.
Yeah. He was pretty good. Ranging between being really smart sometimes and really stupid other times, but that's okay. Sometimes he was all hillbilly, and then sometimes he seems pretty clever. But that's okay.
That's part of his.
I mean, it's always smart to go with the ugliest person is the killer. You know.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Ah, knew it.
I knew it.
And then
Just
freaking
'cause
Michael
you're
Madsen
ugly.
is just sitting there like, damn it, I'm the ugly
Yeah.
one. All right.
Yeah, fuck you.
I agree. Tim Roth, I like him more now just because,
Oh, he does.
He's
I
kind of
usually
funny.
like him. I like him.
yeah, but he
Yeah.
does
Just seemed
seem
to
a
be
little too
acting
much.
like Christoph.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's a little
Yeah.
too much like that exact same character. Like
Right.
kind of like, I don't know what you would call
The
it. But
likable foreigner.
Likable
the
delivery.
likable, well-spoken
Well, he had
foreigner.
the same delivery.
Fancy?
Like the way
Can I use the word
he-
fancy? He
Yeah.
seems
Fancy is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tim Roth was okay. Bruce Dern was great as the racist old Civil War vet or whatever.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I thought some of the
And
like,
I thought Nick Nolte was really good.
Nick Nolte.
Which-
It wasn't
who-
Nick Nolte, but the guy's voice
I was
was
like,
totally Nick Nolte.
Wait, who?
The guy who was, what was his name? He's been in others of
Talking about Michael
sort
Madsen.
of sat there right. Yeah. He was totally
Nolte?
sounding like Nick Nolte. He closes his eyes and you think it's Nick Nolte.
Oh.
I don't know about that.
yeah, I don't know about that
he's
either.
totally got that. Like I've been an alcoholic.
I
most of
mostly
my
don't
life
know
kind
about
of
that
a-
because I haven't seen Nick Nolte in
It's
a
probably
movie
why I
in
didn't
20
have
years.
any
I know,
speaking
that's true.
lines. Yeah.
Why are you following Nick Nolte still, John? What's going on?
What? He's always, at 48 hours on, he's, just someone to follow. Come on.
Nick Nolte's a legend.
Come on. He was in a lot of stuff. Well, not a lot lately. I don't know what if he's done anything recently.
At one time in 1972, Nick Nolte split off into Gary Busey and Nick Nolte, and we happened to get both of them. They look the
Yeah,
same.
he was in the Mandalorian as a voice.
Yeah.
It's better than Gary Busey, right?
Yeah.
If you're following Gary Busey, then you got a real problem.
I'd follow Gary Busey after
Oh, yeah.
freaking
We saw him in
Point
Warrior
Break.
recently. He was in Warrior. He was the dad in Warrior.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah.
You're looking it up is what you're doing.
No.
Yeah.
There's a long enough
Maybe.
pause where, yeah.
Maybe I am.
Yeah. Like you didn't know that?
Maybe.
He's in Warrior. Yeah, of course.
And I think, I don't know, the setting. The setting is, I like the setting. I like living in here. I don't care that some of the scenes are skippable. I just like being in I like movies that are contained like this. Like The Thing is an obvious reference where it's like it's snowy outside and they're warm inside. And even though like bad shit's happening inside, it's still a fun place to be in the movie. It's like a good atmosphere thing. Some of the dialogue parts aren't the absolute best, and some of the jokes don't really land. Like the piano thing where whatever his Bob, is it Mexican Bob? What do they call him?
Mexican Bob, yeah.
Mexican Bob plays the piano. He's terrible at the beginning, but by the end, he's doing like little finger rolls and shit. I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of goofy, but it also is not that funny and doesn't make a lot of sense, sort of stuff.
Mhm.
That whole character wasn't great.
Yeah,
It was like
probably
too
my least favorite one.
clownish. Like
Yeah.
it was like, what I mean? It didn't.
His outfit
It
was
wasn't
funny
believable.
though. I liked
He
his
wasn't
outfit.
believable at all. Nothing about him was believable.
Yeah, but that's kind of
Yeah.
the point too, right? That's why Samuel L. Jackson, like first 2 minutes, was just like, I don't buy what you're selling, bud.
That's true. I guess that's true. But he just wasn't as good of an actor, I guess, with the stupid accent that he had. And I don't know.
That could have been part of his act
Yeah.
though, because when it goes back in time to the
True.
first part, they all have different
When they
voices.
go and when they
Right,
actually
right.
kill off Minnie there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. That part at least explained a lot when they went back. And you're like, oh, okay, they have some motivation for being shitheads. All right.
Right. Yeah.
You know? Well,
Yeah.
one of them does, the brother. The rest of them, who knows why they're all following him into death. For Christ's sake.
But I still don't think we have like these real star-turning performances that we've seen in Tarantino's other films.
That's
either.
because he cast everybody. He cast a freaking
I-
all-star list. They're already all
I know,
famous.
right. Well, we already, but it's true.
But
That's fair,
Jennifer
we
Jason
also
Leigh
don't
hasn't
see-
been in a lot of shit, and she got Oscar nominations and stuff.
That's true.
like
Plus,
Yeah,
we've
that's
seen
true.
what happens when you're in one room from
you just kill each
Watching
other.
Room.
That's right. Da-da-da.
no, from watching Room. It's just bad. Like you don't
Yeah.
you only
It's not
have
gonna go
so
well.
much to work with.
Should know better.
You know what I mean? Like you don't have. It's not like in Inglourious Bastards where their scenery changed the entire time. Like you have more to work with. Like once we
Yeah.
get stuck in that cabin, that's it, and then it's just talky.
But it's a good like 2 hours
good.
almost before they get in.
No,
there.
it's good, but there's not much. Like all they can do is really walk
don't
back
know.
and forth, turn and say a line,
Yeah.
walk back and forth, turn and say a line. Like how much else do you got to do?
Yeah.
Not exactly exciting stuff to watch. If
We
you're-
don't get to have the, even though, I mean, I do like the place, but it's not, you still don't get the really amazing scenery or whatnot that
Right,
you can
yeah.
have when they're outside.
Yeah, it was good. I'm just saying, I could see why it wasn't as.
Telling you, just,
It's just
Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards is up there.
Django, and then,
So to me, this
I
is
mean,
like so Django is probably a better movie because it brings that heavy drama in there so well. I laugh more at this one, so I
Yeah.
won't watch Django.
You probably
again.
laughed more at Garfield, though. I mean, whatever. I mean,
No, dude, I was laughing. This movie's 3+ hours long. I don't think there's a funnier movie that's over 3 hours long.
really?
There's not that many movies over 3 hours long that are comedies. It's a terrible fucking idea for the most
This
part.
is not I didn't think this is a fucking comedy.
It's a comedy, dude. I was
This is a
laughing
Western. I saw
throughout.
this as like an action Western with some humor, but I'm used, I don't know. It wasn't, I wasn't as enjoyable to me. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
But it is, I mean, yeah, my first experience was different than the reason I like it now. So that's,
First experience sounds fantastic, though, to see it in 70 millimeter, to see it with a full theater, and then you're snowed in drinking beer. It's perfect.
Yeah, back when people had experiences.
yeah, back when you could go out in public
right.
and have a
Remember?
packed
Yeah,
theater.
right.
Not be afraid of
Yeah.
everything all the time.
Go to a packed theater and feel real good about that. I'm with people. It's
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah.
I know.
With all that gushing aside, there's not too much to say about the plot or depth in the movie. I mean, it's purely
Not really.
an entertainment piece, I think. That's about it.
That's pretty much it.
That's sums it up. And also, again, this idea, which kind of the inspiration, kind of the idea of it's like everybody's in the house and someone's a murderer kind of thing, that sort of,
Like Clue.
yeah. So,
His main inspiration was The Thing. He liked the idea of paranoia.
oh, that was, I
being
thought, well,
trapped.
there was also the book or the Agatha Christie book and then movie, and then there were none. Also,
No, you know what Tarantino said, as egotistical as he was? He said The Thing was his number one influence to make this movie, and his second biggest influence was Reservoir Dogs, which he fucking did.
nice, of course. I thought he talked about and then there were none, which is also called the 10 Little Indians before that, and before that, the 10 Little. So they made it worse and worse.
Oh, geez, I'm going to have to bleep you out in freaking 2 episodes in a row here.
You
Jesus.
can bleep me out. on that.
Yeah. He's using the
That's
N-word
fine.
a
You gotta
lot.
bleep
Yeah.
that. It's the title of the movie.
I don't
can't
care.
say
You're
it.
not saying it. No friggin' way are you saying
No
it.
way.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You can just edit it out. But that's what it was. Agatha
Yeah.
Christie wrote a book called that.
Yeah.
And then they decided we should clean that up. We'll call it the 10 Little Indians instead. All right. We'll call it and then we're none.
Yeah, but he didn't say that. I watched they had like a Directors Guild Association interview, and Christopher Nolan was the interviewer, which is pretty sweet. They screened it in front of a live audience, and then it was Tarantino and Nolan sitting on the stage, and what's it called, like the Cinerama Dome? Does that sound like a place in
The
LATC?
Cinedome.
Cinedome?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's supposed to be a really nice theater in LA.
I was like, that means that Tarantino and Nolan would have to have like armed combat afterwards.
Yeah.
No, they
We're
both just
hosting
have
at the Cinedome.
overly violent movies, but they're both just like soft nerds. Is
Yeah,
what they
welcome
are.
to the Cinedome. Oh, have a seat.
It's a cage match.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Zoe Bell has like a speaking role in this movie. You guys know who Zoe Bell is?
No.
She was, I think, so Tarantino worked with her on Kill Bill. She was she's a stunt double.
Oh, that's who was it? Was that the really chirpy girl that was doing the stagecoach?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The nice friendly girl that dies horribly.
Yep.
And Lucy Lawless for Xena Warrior. She was a stunt double.
Oh,
for-
really?
Body double for that. Yeah.
Well,
Body.
It's a
double. So she
weird
got like
gig.
punched, maybe?
It's a weird gig, huh?
It's like, all right, so Xena's going to get kicked in the chest. We'll cut to Zoe Bell's
That's
chest.
right.
and
Yep,
get just
right.
gets
your
kicked.
turn, Zoe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get
great.
in there,
That's my
Zoe.
job.
Yeah. Such a weird. I mean, to think that that's like someone's gig.
Yeah, it is pretty strange.
Like, you're not gonna make it in Hollywood as an actor, but you could be a stunt double, body double. She's like, fuck it, let's do it. Pays, right?
That's all I got for movie stuff. Let's go to, I guess it's not book
the
corner,
book
it's
corner.
script corner.
Well, script corner, and then I was going to do a little bit of the.
The interview book?
I went back to the interviews, some of the
Nice.
earlier interviews, just a little bit because. But anyway, so the script is pretty cool, and you can get it for $2 on Kindle.
Do you know what happened with the script?
Yeah, it got leaked, right?
Yeah.
and then Tarantino was like, I don't know if I want to do this now.
Yeah, they were in pre-production when it happened.
Yeah, and that was pretty upsetting to him. The interesting thing is, so Elvis Mitchell wrote the introduction to this script.
Who's that?
Elvis Mitchell's a film critic for the New York Times. He has like a podcast. I forget what it's called. The Treatment. I haven't listened to it, but he's a really well-known film critic.
I think I've seen this guy before.
Hangs out with Quentin Tarantino too. I mean, they're buddies. And they do this. They do these readings of scripts. They have this sort of show that they do. That's like they just get together really other actors, often just black actors, and they do readings of movies that were done differently. So they did like this all black reading of Reservoir Dogs. that was like got huge wave reviews and everything. And it's just they don't let anybody record it or anything. It's just done as like a performance.
How do you go to one of these? Do you have to like know them, or is it like, do they sell tickets or something?
They sell tickets,
Okay.
but it sells out really fast. So they did a reading of this one, and that's where, at least according to Elvis, like then Quentin came back and said, okay, I'm going to make this. That's after they did it's from Elvis, the way Elvis wrote it, that helped him like get over the idea of like, okay, I'm going to do this anyway. When he was thinking about not doing it.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I read that the thing that changed his mind to remake it was when he had the actual cast in the movie do one of these things. Not an all black cast, but the actual cast in the movie do it.
I thought it was because of this thing that they did. And I think it may have been the actual cast though. I think it was.
It could have been the same, but like
they do this thing called
organization?
live read. Yeah, maybe that's not always like an all black casting. That's just what they did with the Reservoir Dogs. So yeah, this was April 19th and on stage.
April 19th, 2014.
Yeah. Yep. April 19th, 2014 is when they did this. And that again, the show is called Live Read. And Jason Reitman and he do this, and Elvis Mitchell. So it's not always like it's just Reservoir Dogs happened to be this one that they did that was black recasting. And then the Hateful Eight did that. And I think maybe it was the original cast doing it. So there was Samuel Jackson, Kurt Russell, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen, Walton Goggins, Bruce Dern, and James Parks were there. So
let's be honest. He said cast. Dingus. Everyone laughed. and then he was like, we're doing this movie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think it would have been pretty awesome to sit in a room and see these actors do this.
Would have been amazing.
And then he said afterwards, he's like, this is it. He told him, Elvis, after the reading, he said, this is it. I'm going to do it. I'm making this movie. But I don't know if that is exactly where his change of mind came from. He doesn't really mention. I don't know where that fits in the context.
I heard from that Christopher Nolan interview thing that it was after that read, and Samuel L. Jackson came up to him afterwards. So that was good on itself. And then Samuel L. Jackson came up to him and was like, "Dude, we have to make this movie." And then Samuel L. Jackson kind of convinced him just to get back on the production. He was just going to turn this screenplay into a novel or something like that, is what he said, because he was so pissed that it got leaked, and he lost all motivation there for a minute to make it. He's a super nerd. He doesn't realize that you have to be a really, really big nerd to read those like unmade scripts, right? Because it basically just ruins the movie for you if you're interested in movies at all.
Fair enough, but it's also fun to read. I mean, the scripts are fun to read.
But after you watch the movie, right? Would you read one before you would watch the movie?
I did that this time.
Oh, you did?
And maybe yes, which might explain maybe I would have liked the film more. I just didn't have time, just the way things worked out. I just
John's always trying to learn
awake.
shit before he watches the movie. That's what he's always trying to do.
Sometimes it's a big mistake.
I think there are certain people that can read scripts. They're usually the ones that work in the industry.
But these scripts read Tarantino's script anyway, at least for the Hateful Eight. But Elvis, I'm not surprised. It's more of a story. It's much more like the script that I read, like Once Upon a Time in America, was just dialogue. It was nothing, hardly anything else. This really reads more like somebody's telling you a story, and the descriptions are kind of fun to read. So it really feels more. It's much easier to read. Just doesn't feel like you're reading like a play script or anything like that. And Elvis in the introduction talks about how Quentin loves to talk about what he's working on with people, or even like people he happens to be sitting on a plane with. So he's just loves to like talk about his writing and like he's telling a story about it, and he gets excited about it. So that was just kind of, I thought, kind of neat. That makes sense. It seems like he's just, and he likes to, he would always like tell Elvis the kind of different stories that he's working on. This stuff, these reads, like it's fun to read. Like at first they were thinking about, the original idea was it was going to be an intended a sequel to Django Unchained, and then it just sort of changed into something more and more as time went on. And then it was that when it leaked online. So according to Elvis here, this was after it leaked online, and then they did the live read, and then he changed his mind and wanted to do it.
It sucks that it leaked.
Now getting into the script itself, his writing is just fun. It's like he opens up. He's like, it's a staggering opening vista set to appropriately nerve-jangling music. Which is right. I like the music too.
It's easy to write that if you've got to create it later.
Then, in the bottom left of this big, all in caps, 70 millimeter super cinemascope frame, we see a stagecoach being pulled by a team of 6 horses, rip snorting through the bottom of the landscape. Again, he's just, you feel like he's telling you this story, sort of, even as you read the script. which is really cool. It's like, now, still in big super CinemaScope 70 millimeter filmed gloriousness, we follow along with the lone stagecoach driver fighting and guiding these 6 horses to shelter. Do
you think that's in part that he's trying to write in the need to use that expensive camera for every single shot in the movie?
Possibly, but it all what it comes across to is he's excited. Like he's like,
he's excited. He wants them to be excited so that they go, okay, fine, sign off on it.
Yeah,
maybe
excited.
So. Yeah.
They can't be like, Tarantino, do you really need the horse riding scene in
what
the 70
do you mean?
millimeter?
It's in the script. I wrote it in the script. Yeah.
Anybody, by the way, anybody know what a haberdashery is?
No.
It means like you sell things for making clothes. But it turns out like the haberdashery in this case is just more of a catch-all general store. But the original term, I think, was more like where you sell materials and things that make clothes.
They might have had that in there. You can sell string and jelly beans.
It's just a dealer in goods for making clothes. And just in the script, he says, in short, this is everything but a haberdashery.
I don't know, though. They were all decked out in nice clothes, and they all knew Minnie and the Dave guy.
A lot of jelly beans that fell all over the place when that exploded.
They did a pretty good job, given how many jelly beans fell over, cleaning them up. They only left one, Still pretty good.
One thing he points out, there's the scene about plucking the chicken where they make Bob finish plucking the chicken. They have an argument about it. That was one scene that was left out. One scene that didn't.
That was in the cut that TC saw, I think.
Oh, yeah?
I think so. Do you remember that scene, TC?
They're like
I remember that scene, so that's got to be in the roadside edition.
I don't remember it off the top of my head, no.
Yeah.
It was 5 hours, 6 hours ago. That's
right.
outside my memory.
Right, John Ruth is saying it's that. What's that, Bob? And Bob says it's chicken, and John says it's not. It's a half-plucked chicken, and a half-plucked chicken is bad luck, and we don't need bad luck in a blizzard. Yep. What's it doing here?
That's in the roadside edition.
So that's the road. Yeah. So anyway, and then like right after that scene, like the script makes a point of saying at this point in the story, almost everybody has been bullied by John Ruth at some point or another.
Again, writing it in so they can't cut scenes out. They have to have it in there so you can't cut all the bullying that happens to each of the individual characters.
He knows what he's doing.
After the horrifying scene, or hilarious and horrifying blowjob in the snow scene.
Not hilarious. Didn't find that too funny.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Putting words in my mouth.
I can't tell. But you're
putting a dick in your mouth.
The dingus thing was funny, and it was satisfying when he got to shoot Bruce Dern.
I
but
thought
the rest
it would
of
have
it
been
was just a little.
Like
graphic.
he could have there could have been other ways like to really upset the general. Like what if the boy had told him things that only that boy would know that were really awful about his father, or that he hated his father, or I mean any number of things.
Because then he would have had to have known things. I don't think he actually knew this guy. He just wanted to shoot the old racist guy.
Oh, really? Oh, you don't think you knew him at all?
No, I thought he was making up the entire thing.
You're right. So if that's the case, okay, I didn't throw that part. I thought he actually had shot him. I thought he was just embellishing everything else.
No, I mean, I'm guessing, but because I don't think it makes it totally clear, but I just assumed that he was making it up.
Right. Because after that episode that's described, the script says he knows the truth when he hears it. This is how Chester ended his life. So
he knows the truth? Who does?
The general does. The general knows the truth when he hears it, and this is how Chester ended his life. So the script just makes it seem like the general that
they found
this is
the
true.
Son naked in the snow or something.
Well, no, that the general has the sense that this was true and that this was how it did happen. That's just by the script saying that line.
That's weird. I don't get it.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. So in that sense, like reading, I think if I hadn't read that, I would have thought that it was maybe much more like exaggerated altogether, that he may not even have known him. But he knew that his boy had died. I don't know how he knew that, but
sounds like they were famous. Like at least that general was famous. He might have and he was in the war. He was in the same battlefield.
I mean, they all seem to kind of know each other somehow, right?
Small world in this movie.
Bounty hunter.
And the guitar singing scene, and maybe that was just Jennifer Jason Leigh, her thing, because it's not in the script at all. So her singing and doing that bit with the guitar, which I really liked, actually. I thought it was pretty sort of a nice change for her character.
That was all one take, and it was filmed live on set, and they had this super old, super nice guitar they had from this antique guitar store. It was worth $40,000. They had rented.
Shit.
They made 5 different replicas for it for Kurt Russell to smash, but there was some miscommunication between the people and Kurt Russell, and he actually smashed the really nice one. And Jennifer Jason Leigh's reaction was a real reaction because she knew he wasn't supposed to smash it. So when she was yelling, "What are you doing?" that was real.
Oh no!
So that was one take,
my
though.
God.
That was one take, and it was recorded all live. It's pretty sweet.
And he must have felt so bad after.
I don't know. Maybe Tarantino did it on purpose. Who
Maybe.
fucking knows?
Oh,
I don't
shit,
know.
yeah.
I mean, what's 40 grand, right?
Right.
When
Yeah.
you're rich.
Yeah. And the only bad thing that happened is that they won't rent out guitars anymore. And he's like, well, I don't need any more guitars.
Oh,
I got the one
not
that I
even
wanted.
that.
Yeah, we're done
Doubt
with
that.
this
They
one.
just pay it. They pay it, and that's it.
Oh,
Just,
shit.
you know,
Yeah, 40,000.
No,
Wow.
this company
Yeah.
that rents them out said they're no longer going to rent out any of the guitars because they're like antiques. Like, it's not just the money; it's that they're like
It's
the
like
people
priceless.
who own it. They love it. Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't want
yeah,
them to be
shit.
smashed.
Why did they think that renting a guitar to Quentin Tarantino would be smart?
I know that's a really good question.
They must
They're
have been desperate
idiots.
for 40 grand.
Yeah, what is this guy? Half of his movies are just people getting covered in blood. I'm sure the guitar will be fine.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Imagine that phone call from the
Ah,
PA.
that's a
The
good
PA
question.
calls. Hey, yeah, this is the PA. So it's broken. Bye. Click. Yeah.
Yeah. So the one scene I don't think was in the script, which I thought was pretty funny, was when Jennifer Jason Leigh's character knows that Kurt Russell's gonna die, and he starts chaining. He grabs her to handcuff her again. She's like, no, and he's like, yes. I did think that was funny.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Yeah, that one was pretty funny. Just the circumstances, but that's all I got for the script. And I can talk just a little bit of stuff I got from the interviews if you want, but that just a small number of things because I'm just when we get to
So this is different people interviewing Tarantino for different movies.
yeah.
Right?
So this is again just the Quentin Tarantino interviews. It's this director series. They basically just collect like a bunch of different interviews from him. This leads up to the Django Unchained. So there's nothing about the Hateful Eight in particular in this. But since I haven't been doing this, I haven't been doing this but since some of the other films that we've already seen, like Reservoir Dogs and stuff, I'm just kind of looking at some of this stuff.
Tacking them
occasionally.
on. All right.
Yeah.
The Cinerama Dome, TC. Does that ring a bell?
I mean, not to me.
It's on
I'm sure to
Sunset
somebody.
Boulevard in Hollywood,
makes sense.
California.
Oh yeah, that's
It's a pretty weird looking thing. It kind of looks like the top half of Epcot Center in
oh nice.
or what is it called? Spaceship Earth. You know that like the huge ball thing they have at Epcot?
Yeah.
It looks like the top half of that.
Nice.
And
It's in Sunset.
yeah, and that's where Tarantino grew up watching movies. And so can I tell a story now, John? Is now a good time
Go
for a
ahead.
quick
Yeah,
story?
tell a story. I'm trying to
That's
figure out
interesting.
where my notes went.
2015, the fall/winter of 2015 was when the first new Star Wars episode was coming out, The Force Awakens, episode 7. That movie was coming out. Disney owned the rights to it. They signed on 2 weeks for that movie, and then this Cinerama Dome signed on some number of weeks directly afterwards for The Hateful Eight to be shown in 70 millimeter because they already have 70 millimeter. I'll talk more about what they had to do to get infrastructure of 70 millimeter out around the country again to show this in 70 millimeter, but this one already had it. This is where Tarantino grew up. They already had a contract to show it at this theater during, right before it was opening. Disney went to the people, the ArcLight owned Cinerama Dome, and this is an interview on Howard Stern where he was just venting because it just happened the day before. He was pissed. And he was like, Disney went to the ArcLight, the people who own this theater, and said, we want to show Star Wars throughout the holidays. Like we want you to break your other contracts. We want to extend our contracts. Do this for us. We're fucking Disney and it's Star Wars because they probably saw a print of it and they're like, this will be a fucking huge hit. Why would we not show it during Christmas? Tarantino and his production company were like, you can't do that. We have a deal. What the fuck? Disney came back and said, if you don't let us show it throughout the holidays, we're never going to let you show we're never going to let you show or any of the other ArcLights show a Star Wars movie ever again. Is what Disney said.
Really?
Yeah. So they basically blackmailed the theater somehow legally into not letting the Hateful Eight play when it was scheduled to play. And it just played Star Wars throughout the fall and winter of 2015.
Huh.
Doesn't that suck?
That's annoying.
Yeah. It's like where he grew up, and he was just like
sucks.
begging on Stern, and Stern actually called a couple of people on this interview because he knows people in Hollywood too. He knows people at Disney, and he's just like, dude, why would you do this? Tarantino grew up here. It's just one theater. It's one fucking theater. Let him show it here. They didn't let him show it.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Cool. Thanks, Disney. Corporate
Yeah, no
overlords.
kidding. Ah.
Don't you feel somewhat bad giving your money to see that Star Wars movie now, John?
I just bought
A
Disney
little
Plus
bit.
again. Fuck. Just so I could get National Geographic.
All right, so I found some of my notes. This will be quick. So one of the things, this is from his interview at Cannes in '92. He dropped out of school when he was 15. I didn't know that. And he
To
wanted
work at a Blockbuster, right?
Well, but he also was like doing acting classes. Oh, this is from also a Terry Gross interview that he did in 2009 with Fresh Air. They just printed out the transcript of this. So he dropped out of school and he was studying with James Best, who, this may have been before your time, but he played Roscoe Coltrane on the Dukes of Hazzard TV shows.
James Best.
But he's done a lot of other things.
The
He's
sheriff
like
guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a lot of other good character actor stuff too. I mean, so Tarantino studied with him, and he was a big fan of his. And he said like he wanted to be an actor, but he also realized he loved movies too much to simply just appear in them. He wanted the movies to be his movies. And so he also just knew a lot more about cinema than other people. He said I cared about cinema and they cared about themselves. So it was sort of in comparison of the actors. So he got the passage from the Bible from Pulp Fiction that was from a movie called The Bodyguard, which was a Tsushi Takamori movie in 1973. So that actual passage.
Kevin Costner?
No.
Whitney Houston?
And you will know that I am the Lord. I don't think.
and I will always love you, is what Samuel L. Jackson said.
And I
That's right.
will
Always love you,
always
bitch.
love you.
And then Kevin Costner picks her up and walks off the screen. Yeah, it's a pretty that's a good one.
That's right.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Come on, it was on every skating rink for 20 years.
Yeah. So that was just interesting to kind of see where he came from and sort of what the things that he was doing. And he said that, like, from another interview, he said that Sergio Leone is his favorite director of all time. Initially, he was having a hard time raising money for films, but he ended up writing True Romance and Natural Born Killers. He wanted to make them, but he ended up selling them, and they got made by other people and were quite successful. So that's all I got.
Nice. I got some trivia here. So there were some interviews and stuff. think I got most of my information from that Christopher Nolan interview. He said that Ennio Morricone, who is the composer, this is after working with him on Django Unchained.
Oh, I will add, I love the music. I really liked it. I really liked it. I liked it more than Django. Well, other than I love the song Django, but I like the score of this one a lot more.
Believe it or not, this is the first Tarantino movie that was like scored. Like more than half of the music in this movie is a score that was made for the movie, as opposed to his other movies where more than half the music is like stolen from elsewhere.
Yeah.
And Ennio Morricone won an Oscar for this score. Dude's like 70, like late 70s. He's been making movies. He did the score for like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in the 60s. Like he's been working forever.
Jesus.
And after Django, from last week, we talked about how he hated working with Tarantino because he took everything he did and just like cut it up in weird ways. But apparently Tarantino wanted him back on, and he sent him the script for this movie. And Ennio Morricone really liked the script, and apparently his wife loved the script, and then kind of like, do it. You got to do it. This is going to be good.
Wow.
So he was convinced by his wife to make this movie.
It was good. That opening, the sounds are just pretty cool.
Yeah. And Ennio Morricone says some of it, he didn't say what, but he said some of the score was unused tracks from The Thing.
The Exorcist.
From The Thing.
I thought there was also like one of those parts were from The Exorcist 2 as well.
I didn't hear that. It's possible.
It's credited in the movie as from The Exorcist 2.
Okay.
But I think he still wrote it.
So yeah, he took like an unused scrap of The Thing and then redid it and then put it in this movie. They might have done the same thing for The Exorcist, like the unused score from The Exorcist too.
Making something years ago, being old and being like, I'll take that. That'll
work.
Also,
that fits in there. Look at that. You stick that in, that fits right in
there. Stick it in. We rework a couple fucking violas. We're done.
Yeah. Also with Kurt Russell, right? So that's kind of a nice comeback.
I love Kurt Russell's mustache. It's a freaking amazing mustache.
There's one point where he's like making a point and he like flicks
Don't
his
make
mustache,
me horse
like,
laugh. Fucking hilarious. It's a bit. It's almost too much over the top, but it's not enough.
Anyway, it is weird seeing him in Santa Claus as a very good Santa Claus, actually. I didn't know he was Santa Claus.
I can see that. He's got facial hair for days. He's got the burliest beard you could ever see in a man. That's a fact. That's a fact right there. Yeah, I didn't hear any agreements. So I'm just going to say
I don't know. It could be there. It could be not all natural. Could have been.
Oh, that's all. You've seen The Thing, right? The guy hasn't lost a hair in his head since freaking Escape from Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know these beautiful, beautiful hair.
yeah. So more 70 millimeter trivia. By this time in 2015, most theaters have they updated to digital cameras to show movies on. There was some interest in resurrecting the 70 millimeter, but it wasn't that big. So there was a movie called The Master, and I think it was like 2012 or something like that, where they showed it on
Philip Seymour Hoffman and
that was a Paul Thomas Anderson one.
Yeah. Really odd.
Very
film.
odd, but it was shot on 70 millimeter and shown on. There's only 16 projectors that can show it across the country, so they showed that on those 16 projectors. Luckily, Boston was one of them. I actually saw that one in 70 millimeter, but this one they had to rebuild and find and rebuild these 70 millimeter projectors across the country. They spent $10 million to find and rebuild 96 cameras to put in theaters across the country. But then they also spent part of that money to train 200 people overall to man the projectors.
Damn.
For that.
Wow.
Because this film is huge. Apparently, like 70 millimeters is just really thick and heavy film. So this movie, the Roadside Edition, which is the 4-hour long one, was 20 reels of film.
Damn.
And it was 250 pounds total.
Wow.
Jesus.
So, yeah, I mean, 20 reels of film. Like you got to change the reel every 20 minutes or something like that, right? Like you have to make your piss breaks fast.
Maybe yeah.
They must have two right next
Well, I think
They
they've
have
got
two,
it.
but I think it's two people. You need both people to do it.
to do it.
Yeah.
To lift.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of cool. Like he's trying to resurrect. And that was part of the reason Christopher Nolan had him on, because Christopher Nolan also loves film. He shot Dunkirk on 70 millimeter as well. So they have this, like, they're the two mainline, blockbuster directors that exist today that are pushing for film to stay a thing. It's probably not going to stay a thing.
No.
Yeah.
Especially
Not that.
after they retire, like them,
Yeah.
like no one
Well,
else
just
is
look at
pushing
what the
for film.
infrastructure you just
Right.
Right.
talked
Yeah.
about. Like, no one's doing that.
Right.
Come on. What do you mind?
And once you're doing it on film, like, it's going to be a sad day when these guys stop making movies.
Like
But
you're telling me you can send a less than a pound
a
hard
flash drive with a
to the
password,
fucking-
yeah.
to the fucking arc light versus a 250 pound
And you get this like 12-year-old
UPS
kid to
delivery?
hit play, and that's all you have to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm taking that.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't care how
Yeah,
good the
sorry.
lighting looks on the 70
Yeah,
millimeter.
we couldn't care less about your film, bud. Have a good day.
That sucks because I don't know what it is, and it could just be because he's a better director and frames it better, But this movie looks freaking great. Like it looks
does.
better than most other movies.
It does.
No, it does.
It does.
And with the way the interior shots are, even like the interior stagecoach shots and how that all looks, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
No, it really does. I mean, there's a big difference. You can tell. There's nothing digital that can.
but don't you think that eventually they'll figure out how to make it look the same? Eventually,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't yet.
Doesn't yet.
Freaking Marvel movies look like plastic toys.
I mean, it's like audio,
Well,
right?
that helps with the
digital,
merchandising
Digital doesn't
anyway.
quite
Yeah.
do it. Digital doesn't quite do it.
Yeah. So on top of those 96 cameras, there are also apparently 50, at least 50. They used 50 70 millimeter cameras across other countries, and they showed them at those screens too.
Wow.
It's a hell of an undertaking.
It is. So they had that set that the cabin thing was a set, and they had a crane outside of it. They could remove like all the walls and then film with this crane. And Tarantino said they filmed every single thing with the crane because it was like, it wasn't a techno crane, which apparently is a thing. And I think that's like, I just have to guess because they didn't describe it, but it sounds like one of those smart cameras you get, where you can program it and there's nobody manning it. He said this was one with a bucket and a guy with a camera on the crane because
Nice.
he wants
Oh,
the
wow.
guy looking through the camera when he's filming his shots.
Yeah.
Again, probably unnecessary, but I don't know. Maybe it is necessary. Maybe there's something to that.
Yeah, there probably is.
So any type of like zoom. So this type of camera with that type of lens, it doesn't have a zoom lens, so you couldn't zoom in on stuff. So any zoom, they had to actually just push the camera forward. All the shots that look kind of like dolly shots, they weren't. They're all crane shots. Every single
Wow.
zoom
Wow.
and dolly is just a crane shot. They
No
did
way.
Everything
Oh,
from
wow.
the crane.
That's impressive.
That's pretty
dude.
crazy.
Yeah, because apparently the crane could do the dolly move. It's just a crane,
Right.
and they could do
It's
this
just-
move. It's just a crane.
It's
it
just a
does
crane
whatever it
instead
wants.
of a- instead of a dolly, right?
Yeah. So it must have been kind of easy to be like, all right, we're going here to here. Get on the crane. We didn't even
Yep.
have to think about how we're doing it. Get on the crane.
Right. And then some guy pushes them forward and then pulls them back, and
Yep.
that's it.
The exterior shots were in Southwest Colorado. They rented a place for $5 million. Seems like a lot of money. But that's where all those shots were taken in Colorado. And the only movie they showed while filming this movie was The Thing. And this was during the Christopher Nolan, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't make Kurt Russell sit through the thing, did you?" And he's like, "Oh, he loved it. He was sitting there, and he's just like, that's me. Look at that. That's me." That's all I got.
All right.
All right.
So, would you guys put this in the top 250? Sounds like a loaded question.
No,
I didn't. I still didn't mind watching it. I still am interested to watch anything he does. I mean, so yeah.
I think I'd like to watch it again at 3 hours instead of 4.
Yeah.
Try the 3-hour version.
I'd put it on the list. I don't think this movie will like influence people into making movies or like be important in any way, but it's 3 hours long and I'm laughing throughout. And it's one of the few movies that I can say guaranteed I'm going to want to watch again. Like I'm going to watch this multiple more times.
Huh.
That's something.
Can't say that I would do that, but that's,
right. Best comedy of the year. Bring your family.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Best slapstick comedy of the year. You're going to love it.
It's slapstick with gore. It's amazing.
Look at him hit the women, little Jimmy. Isn't that funny?
She got a black guy already. The fucking, look at her. Oh my God, it's hilarious. Yeah.
Oh wait, this is the best part. Look, he's naked.
Gonna elbow her. He's gonna
I'm not
elbow
going to
her.
tell you what comes next, but it's hilarious.
Dude, she's going to get blood all over her face. Ready?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, here it goes.
Oh, it's so good. All right. So
What are we doing next
too bad.
week?
So next week, I was hoping you guys would laugh with me because next week, no one's going to be laughing. We're watching the oldest Stanley Kubrick movie on the list.
Oh, God.
All right. Back to Kubrick.
Paths of
What do we
Glory,
got?
1957.
Oh, I've never watched that one.
It's got freaking...
Like a grenade going off in the screen.
Yeah, it's got
Or something like that from
Kirk
previous.
Douglas in it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's old.
Old.
Not that old though.
Old.
1957.
It's hockey.
It is. It's better than a silent film.
Yeah.
You know.
That's right. And it's only an hour and 28 minutes, DC. Look at that. Huh?
Oh my God.
Well,
Look
then
at
that's
that.
a breeze.
Really?
I already like this movie.
That is so
hour
manageable.
and 30. Come on, I could do that.
Wow.
Now, there's got to be a formula. You got a new and long movie versus an old and short movie. Which one wins out here? Which one?
It's the old and short all day. It's an hour and a half. Come on.
Nice.
I can do that with my eyes closed. All right.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, boys.
Top 'em